Hare Krishna Om Gyantimirandasya Jnananjana-shalakaya Chakshurmitramurtam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Hare Krishna. We will continue discussion on Prabhupada's purpose. The Supreme Lord, He is both mother and father for the the material world. So this is a very important understanding we need to have. Like He's a loving mother, and he is at the same time father who owns everything also, who controls everything. At the same time, he is a mother who arranges all the things. And Pitahamasya Jagato Mata Dhata Pitam. He's saying I'm father also, I'm mother also. And this vision actually brings a comprehensive vision of Lord. We should understand like this. Some Abrahamic religions and all, for them, Lord is like a father. But we cannot comprehend truly Lord if you accept him only as father. It is said that he should know that whatever is happening, the phenomena and everything, even though scientists they are trying to comprehend some things, but we should know it is happening because the Lord wants it. Like they say that why there is so many seasons are coming. They say because Earth has a oval orbit, it is sometimes closer and sometimes further from Sun. That is the reason there are different seasons. But one important thing to understand it, Lord want it. That it is given, the example is given that God is like a loving mother, and how a loving mother she dresses her little daughter. Sometimes they have very small children. In a day, they try to put 5, 6 different dresses to the child, and they look the child and feel very happy and joyful. Similarly, the Lord also tries to change the environment, and He likes to see. Sometimes He likes autumn season, sometimes spring season, sometimes rainy season. So for the nature, He's changing the dresses, and he want to give summer sometime and all these things. So this is how we look at the Lord. He is Brihadaranyaka Upanishad says that out of fear for Lord, so and so things are happening. But also it gives the understanding that this is the desire of Lord as a loving mother. It is happening. So both the things. And that is the first step. After a person takes the first step, he must learn to hear. After faith has come to him in the form of seed from the spiritual master, we must learn to hear and see both. First, Shravanam starts at the beginning of spiritual life. How should I listen? And what should be my hearing? If my hearing is truly imbibed with faith, and this is actually the characteristics. And for the now, there are scientists who are sitting there who said, and who are trying to understand with their own limited intelligence. But it's very difficult. We can understand by hearing. And what does it mean to listen in order to properly hear from God? Like it is said that if a person want to hear birds in the forest, what should you do? He should wake up early in the morning because birds also wake up in the morning. And similarly, he must go to the forest. He must be hiding there and pay attention and catch every sound of it. And then this is like he has to be very, very attentive to know what they are speaking. Similarly, the Shravanam is an art. First thing is I have to calm down. The first thing for us to hear Bhagavatam means we have to calm down, calm our mind. That why can't I hear about God? Because I have already another loudspeaker, which is already recorded with some sound and it is always coming. And this is always there is a big track that is going on. What is the track? It is saying you are the best. You are only right. And whatever you are doing is the best and you are doing right. And everybody, they are bogus or they are cheaters or they are, so many things people have about others. That is not actually correct. We should learn to respect. We should learn to appreciate. We should learn to see the other person's uh, intentions and appreciate them. Then only we'll be able to, because everybody want to, especially when it comes to acharyas and gurus, we should have this attitude. No, they are actually helping me. If we lose that, na, then that is the most unfortunate situation. They are never meant to cheat anyone because they have given their whole life. They are so selfless. Why do they do like that? So here, first thing is we have to calm down our mind. And then what happens? I must silence my mind. I have to listen inside in the depth. What God is telling me from the heart. Because God is talking at every moment. He's telling at every moment. And He's doing from many lifetimes. But we are not able to hear, like a child uh, who is very mischievous. And now Paramatma, he is trying to explain all these things. And many places in Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is trying to explain. He describes how one should learn to see the Paramatma's existence, Paramatma in everybody's life, no matter what body we are, Paramatma is there everywhere. And even in the body of a worm, wherever a person is going, he's still there. And like we understand that Lord is like a mother who sits and waits for the child when the child will finally come to me. And this is actually what we understand. Every moment he speaks to us in order for us to hear his voice. This is the first understanding. That means first is we have to calm down our mind. Second is we need to become little humble for this. Why it is so hard to be humble? Because humility is to we must acknowledge the existence of God, but it's not enough just to recognize the existence of God. We must take it and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has given this very important formula. We cannot enter into the kingdom of God until we are humble, and all the teachers. And we must recognize ourselves that humility comes from the Latin word humility. Uh, Humilitas means it is earth, soil. That means we should become fertile like humus. Humans are not just earth, it is black. Humus is a black soil. That means there should be fertile, the land that accepts and transforms everything. That is a very strong related to the quality of our listening because uh, we are not able to listen properly until we have humility. So humility means that I have to accept everything like a black soil that and then turns into proper fruits, flowers, everything will come into it. So I am more and more influenced. The person, the soil of a person who want to hear must become like that. This is actually what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is telling. And what does humility and acceptance means? That we we are accepting the superiority of the other person. Because Prabhupada is coming from spiritual world, he knows what is in spiritual world, and he is coming to give us. If I accept his superiority, then it becomes very easy what Prabhupada is giving to accept. And he's not just like any other Vaishnava, he's an Acharya. There is a difference. There are so many Vaishnavas are there, but what is speciality in Acharya? Because Acharya gives the direction, he gives the way. And Malti Mata says when she came to Vrindavan, she saw so many Vaishnavas, but she did not see anybody as compassionate as Prabhupada. Many people have knowledge. Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur disciples, they are very scholarly. They have so much knowledge. very profound knowledge. But what is the difference between them and Prabhupada is Prabhupada is very compassionate. He took so much risk to go and give this message to all over the world. People they can sit there in ivory towers and they can write so many books and then they can make comments and they can also see what mistakes Prabhupada did. They can tell Prabhupada made this mistake, Prabhupada made this mistake. They're sitting in ivory towers and making such things. But how does it make any difference in our life? But if a person is ready to take, why I'm telling this is what we should develop appreciation for Prabhupada. Then when we are hearing, when we are reading this Prabhupada purports, it makes some difference in our heart. Like humility means to completely reject the false ego, my false desires of what I want, how I want. Humility means that I have to go through this 0 point of my life cycle. Humility means that I have to completely change because how am I used to living, how I'm used to building my life, it should be not the way I want. This is very important. All the time, my needs, so much selfishness. Now, we cannot see others. We cannot see others' existence. We cannot understand others' freedom to live also. We are just so self-centered, so selfish. We cannot see Krishna. What to speak of, we cannot see any other person beside, who are living besides us also. We become so self-centered. This is actually a problem. But humility means I have to completely change. And what we should understand, life should be only the way I want. That is what people think. But everything happens the way Krishna wants. And we'll see some points which Prabhupada is making. This only three purports we have, but very nice purports. We'll see what Vidurapi Uddhava Chrutva Krishnasya Paramatmanah Kridayopatada Karmani Slagitani cha. Vidura also heard from Uddara about the appearance and disappearance of Lord Krishna, the super soul in the mortal world, which is subject matter sought after with great perseverance by great sages. The subject matter of appearance and disappearance of the super soul, Lord Sri Krishna, is a mystery even for the great sages. The word Paramatmanaha is significant in this verse. An ordinary living being is generally called Atma, but Lord Sri Krishna is never an ordinary living being because he is Paramatma, the super soul. Yet, his appearance as one of the human beings and disappearance again from the mortal world are subject matters for research work who execute research work with great perseverance. So, this we have discussed last time. Why Lord is inconceivable? Because with research we cannot understand. That is the देहनास्यं च तस्यैवं धीराणां अन्येषां दुष्कृतां पुरुषां विल विक्लवात्मनां. Inconceivable because even after research also we cannot understand. That's why it's inconceivable. That is the main. The Lord's glorious acts and his acceptance of various transcendental forms for performance of extraordinary pastimes in mortal world are very difficult for anyone other than his devotees to understand, and for the beast, they are simply a mental disturbance. The transcendental form and pastimes of Lord, as described in Bhagavad Gita, are difficult subject matter for those who are not devotees to understand. The Lord never reveals himself to persons like jnanis and yogis. Actually, the path they are approaching, it is actually the problem. So there are three ways of approaching: karma, jnana, and upasana bhakti. And the Lord reveals his impersonal form to jnanis and Paramatma form to yogis and personal form to bhaktas. The Lord is not actually partial in that way. Lord, what he is doing, according to the path, he is giving the revelation. But for a jnani to access this path is not possible. You have approached that path only. And there are others who, because of their envying the Lord from the bottom of their heart, are classified among the beasts. And for such envious beasts, subject matter of Lord's appearance and disappearance is simply a mental disturbance. As confirmed in Bhagavad Gita, the miscreants who are simply concerned with material enjoyment, who work very hard like beasts of burden, can hardly know the personality of Godhead at any stage due to asuric bhava, or a spirit of revolt against the Supreme Lord. So, this is even Lord comes and tells them, like for Duryodhana, he's coming and explaining, I am Supreme Lord, he's showing his Virat Rupa, but still Duryodhana is not interested. Hiranyakashipu saw Lord Narsingadev, he is not interested. Ravana saw how Lord Ram is destroying every bit of his army, and everybody was destroyed, only Ravana remained. Still, he was not ready to surrender. So, this is actually from core of their heart, they continue to remain envious. This is a demonic propensity. Even Lord gives all opportunities. Somehow they are not interested only. That is the problem. Now, to facilitate them, Lord arranges some all these bogus philosophies also. Because he says, okay, you don't want to be with me. Okay, take this philosophy which will help you to fulfill your desire that Lord does not exist. All Buddhism or any atheistic philosophies is given by Lord because these living entities are like that. What Lord can do. It is not his fault. The transcendental bodily expansions manifested by Lord in his pastimes in the mortal world and the appearance and disappearance of such transcendental expansions are difficult subject matters. And those who are not devotees are advised not to discuss the Lord's appearance and disappearance, lest they commit further offenses at the lotus feet of Lord. The more they discuss the transcendental appearance and disappearance of Lord in the Asuric spirit, the more they enter into the darkest region of hell. That means even like there is a famous Bhagavad Gita reciter. Uh, he is he recited. He was actually playback singer previously, and then in Telugu, and he made all the 700 Bhagavad Gitas along with their translations. Made a very great recordings, and then he said that, see, I have given up my, dedicated my life and made all the 700 shlokas, recited, gave the translation purport, and I can proudly tell that nobody has done this ever, and this is my greatness. I was thinking, and that, Array, if you are so great, you understood, that means you should not become proud. That means you did not understand only because Krishna is telling Prakriti Kriyamanani Gunai Karmani Sarvasha Ahankara Vimudhatma Kartaham iti manyate. This is your foolishness that you are thinking you are the doer. But as such, if you know Bhagavad Gita, you never say, that means you never understood only. You might have recited all 700 shlokas, front, left, center, back, all the times. What is the value of your reciting if you did not even understand this basic concept that you should not become proud and you should give up the doership mentality? What is understanding? Somebody may not be so scholarly. Somebody know very simple housewife. She knows maybe two, three shlokas, but she understands this concept that I should not be proud and I'm not done. She is humbly chanting the holy name. This is much more better than. That's why Krishna is telling Gyanis cannot understand me. Not possible only. Even if they discuss also, this is what is told. They enter into the darkest region of hell because they have that Asuri mentality. As stated in Bhagavad Gita, anyone who is against the transcendental loving service of the Lord is more or less beastly creatures as confirmed in the verse of Srimad Bhagavatam. Atmanam cha kurusreshta Krishnena manase chitam dhyayan gate bhagavate ruroda prema vikvalaha. Understanding that he was remembered by Lord Krishna while quitting this world, Vidura began to cry loudly, overwhelmed by ecstasy of love. So this is quite quite emotional situation for Vidura because of all the people, Lord is remembering Vidura. So definitely it is quite emotional thing. Said, oh, Lord is remembering me of all the people. Vidura was overwhelmed by ecstasy of love when he understood that Lord Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, thought of himself as a at the last moment. Although he thought of himself as insignificant, he was remembered by the Lord by his causeless mercy. Vidura accepted this as a great favor, and thus he cried. This crying is the last word in the progressive path of devotional service. Anyone who can cry for the Lord in love is certainly successful in line of devotional service. So this is the point that He Radhe Vraja Devike Lalite He Nanda Sunaputra. So Goswamis are crying, and this is actually very important. If we are able to, people say Asocha Nanna Sochastu. Bhagavad Gita starts with where Krishna is telling, Are Arjuna, why are you lamenting? And ends with the sloka Sarvadharman Parityadya Mamekam Sharanam Sarvapapebhyo Mokshesham Masucha. Do not lament. So Krishna is giving instructions so that we can come out of our lamentation. Now here we are seeing that the highest perfection of life is to cry, lament. So we are in the material world, we are given this knowledge to come out of it. But after coming out of that ignorance, again when we enter into the real knowledge, again we start crying. So here we are crying for material things, but there we cry for spiritual things. Anyway, crying is there. So better instead of crying for something material, better to cry from something spiritual, which will make some difference in life. Of course, not in life, because that is actually the constitutional portion of the soul. Even Krishna is there besides, the gopis are feeling separation and they are having tears in the eyes. This is highest form of love. When like what people are trying to do, they try to imitate this in the material world, and they why people watch movies and serials is because of this one very reason is they want to experience that love. Anyway, they don't get in their life. If they show a little bit affection here, there, things become very bad. But when they see that somebody is acting, and trying to show extra brother sister sentiment and mother child sentiment, wife husband sentiment, boyfriend girlfriend sentiment, father son sentiment. In normal way, it's quite odd. We see so much of affection here there. But there in the movie, something is shown and people are really touched. What actually they are looking for? They are looking for something very real, which they know that it is not here. And they want it, but they don't know that there is something spiritual world where everything is at that level, even much more than that. Just by hearing that Krishna left, Radharani faints. Can you imagine what that love can be? And not that Krishna left, Krishna is besides only. Krishna is beside, but somebody told Madhuvangal comes and says Madhu left, and she's fainting. That means what a amount of love that can be. Even the movies they cannot even imagine. These people are all Tamagoda people. They cannot even understand also. They only speculate something and write some stories. The point what I want to tell is this crying, what is happening in the spiritual world is the highest. And Vidra is crying, is overwhelmed by ecstasy. And this is something very special for Vidra also. And Lord knows whom to give what. So he can attract any living entity with his different ways. He attracts Pandavas in different ways. He attracts Draupadi, Kunti, and to attract Vidra, he did this activity. So Lord may perform different activities. To attract Uttara, he made her go through the Ashwatthama's Brahmastra. And then when immediately she comes and says, Krishna, please help, and Krishna helped. So Krishna only arranged. Now Uttara came, Now, how much he will be so grateful. Oh, Krishna entered into my womb and protected myself. So, Lord knows how to attract the living entities closer to him. And Parikshit Maharaj, he saw Lord from the womb only. So, he's attracted from the womb. Like that, for every living entity, Lord has a special reciprocation to attract that living entity towards him and make him feel connected. And here we see for Vidura, Lord has chosen this method. You just have to take his name before leaving. He says, okay, Uddhava, Vidura is going to come. Tell him I have remembered him. And he left. And just Vidura thought, my God, this is so big for me. And for Bhishma, how he reciprocated, he just went when he's leaving his body. He said, and Bhishma is so happy. Oh my God, Lord came for me when I'm leaving. So like that, Lord, according to every devotee, he has some special plan how to make him make steal his heart. Krishna is Makan Chor, so he knows to steal the heart. We have to make our heart like Makan. If it is Makan, then he will steal. We have to work on that. Very simple. Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur's appearance yesterday. So many places he gives, like Prabhuji was also discussing yesterday. And this is where the difference came. Why Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur special? He is actually speaking this philosophy very strongly compared to Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur strong because it's so much focusing on change of heart, change of heart, change of heart. Very heavy with that, with this concept. And here, Lord knows how to change the heart of living entities from envy to greed and to lust. We want to develop love. When bhakti comes, automatically all this comes. And Lord, He attracts, He shows. See, you love, you show your love to me, and you see how much I can love you. This is not something simple. Lord can, Lord love is unlimited. We cannot handle also. Where Vidura is not able to handle. He began to cry loudly. And Prabhupada is telling, one who can cry for the Lord in love is certainly successful in the line of devotional service. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu always used to pray, oh, I don't have love for Krishna. Why Krishna is not coming to me? Why Krishna is not coming to me? This is actually what he was doing all the time. And we have next slokas is Kalindhya Kati Siddha Aho Bharatarshabha Prapadyata Swasaritam Yatra Mitrostu Muhnihi. This is after passing a few days on the banks of the river Yamuna, Vidura, the self-realized soul, reached the bank of Ganges, where the great sage Maitreya was situated. And this is what happened. Vidura, he stayed there for some time and he must be in great ecstasy crying for the Lord and meditating. And then he went to meet Maitreya, right, to take his association. And then this is actually very important section, section which starts from the next chapter. This is the conversation between Maitreya and Vidura. It's a big part of Bhagavatam is this conversation, and we'll be discussing from that one day onwards. Thank you all very much. Any questions, comments? Okay. We have successfully completed 4 chapters of the purport reading. We'll do. Thank you. Jai Krishna.